Hello, Zach. You're up next.
Hey, how's it going, Bart?
Are you also a first-time caller?
Yes,
Okay, and where are you playing out of?
the Hard Rock in Cincinnati.
Hard Rock. That is where one of our coaches, Nate, who I saw in the live chat, plays, although I think he tends to play a lot in home games. Hard Rock. Do you know Nate, by the way?
No, I don't know him.
Hard Rock in Cincinnati. What's the largest game that goes there on a regular basis?
The game that this hand is from, it's 5-10-20. It goes once a week.
Okay. So 5-10. I wonder if Nate knows who you are. You just don't know who he is. 5-10-20, is it uncapped or?
It's 4K cap.
4K cap. Interesting cap that they do that. So straight 5-10-20, always like a 3-blind game?
Yeah, it's listed as a 5-10, but the 20 is mandatory.
Do you ever get like a fourth one on there too?
No.
Okay. It's always like 5-10-20. Okay.
Yeah.
And how deep are you for this hand?
We are 41-15 effective.
41-15?
Yeah.
All right. So 41-15 effective 5-10-20. All right. Start us off here in Cincinnati. Skyline Chili, Cincinnati.
So it folds to me. I'm in the hijack with ace 10 of clubs, and I open up to 60.
Hero in hijack with ace of clubs, 10 of clubs to 60. Okay.
And then it folds around to the button, who 3-bets to 200.
Okay.
And then folds back around to me, and I call.
Are you a reg in this game? Is this game like all regged up, like you know the players?
This is only the third time I've played in this game. I normally play 2-5.
Do some of the players know that you're sort of shot taking a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. So hero in the hijack, 60, button, 3-bet to 200. Button is incentivized to 3-bet more often in a 3-blind game. And you make the call, which I think is pretty standard. There's nobody's in between. You make the call with the ace 10 of clubs, and the pot is what, like, I don't know. Did they take a rake or time or something?
No,
or?
it's a time game.
It's a time. So 435.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flop was ace of diamonds, 5 of diamonds, 4 of spades.
Ace of diamonds, 5 of diamonds, 4 of spades. Is that right?
Yep.
By the way, I see Nate chiming in here saying that this game only runs on Tuesday evening and it's a terrible game. Is that accurate, caller?
There's a couple of big fish in the game. I've been doing pretty well in it, but I've only played it a couple times.
But it's a Tuesday. For some reason, it's Tuesday night. Okay. So you flop top pair here. Ace of diamonds, 5 of diamonds, 4 of spades. Okay.
Yep. So I check and flow, and the button bets 125, and then I call.
So button bets 125, just over 25% of the pot. And hero calls. I think that's pretty standard here. So 250, 685, right? To the turn?
Yep. And the turn is the 6 of spades.
6 of spades. So it's ace of diamonds, 5 of diamonds, 4 of spades. Turn is the 6 of spades, putting a double flush draw out there. Hero with ace 10 of clubs. This starts to get interesting. Obviously, I assume you check, right?
Yeah, I check.
Yeah, this starts to get interesting in terms of how, I mean, it's late-ish versus late. It is a 3-bet pot. I start to wonder, obviously, like if this was a single raised pot and say you were defending out of the third blind, someone with ace, king, ace, queen isn't necessarily happily putting a bet in here in the turn in a wide configuration. It's a 3-bet pot, so ace, king, ace, queen could continue to bet here. You might get put into some spots here with some draws and things like that. But okay, so you check.
The button bets 800.
800?
Yeah.
Wow.
This villain in particular, he's one of the people who sets the game up. He is way over aggressive almost all the time.
So I was my gut reaction here before you told me that, then we'll talk about the deviations, would be that this would probably just be folded out here. Folded out in the sense that it's not, you've got, you don't have not that he's taking this type of sizing with like ace, jack, ace, queen, but there are other aces here that are better to continue with, like ace 7, ace 8, ace 3. You know what I'm saying? Something like that.
Yeah.
Where you can at least pick up some equity or some sort of backdoor hand. Warhead says, I would be very worried about my kicker. I don't know. This is kind of, I don't know here. Like, is ace king allowed to take this type of sizing? I suppose with the board being very, very draw heavy, he could bet here and then I guess take a showdown at the end. Now, if you're saying that this guy is overly aggressive, if that's what you're sort of live node locking, that he's overly aggressive, even in I mean, you said you only played this game a few times, right?
Yeah. I have played with this guy in a few other games, and he's always aggressive.
I mean, the thing about this is that, like, if you decide to call down here, first of all, if you call, there aren't a whole lot of like clean rivers, but even if you do get a clean river, are you just basically saying you're calling the turn, and then if the river's a brick, you're just calling any amount, no matter what? Or you think that your call here is showing him that you have a strong hand, that he actually might not pull the third barrel?
I don't think he's basically ever going to shut down if he misses on the river. If he has some sort of draw, I think he's going to go for the third barrel almost every time. So I'm planning on calling and then calling most rivers.
Well, he's not really supposed to do that on front door diamonds. He can do it on backdoor spades. You just get into, I mean, the thing about this is that so the blanks here for you really are king, queen, jack that are not a diamond and a spade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe like a 9.
Yeah.
Everything else gets kind of iffy here too. I mean, okay, I just think that sometimes I fold. I mean, I like I said, my gut reaction here was to fold out here on the turn. If a guy is very, very overly aggressive and you're going with a game plan where you're just going to decide to go to war with this hand and call down, then fine. I will also note though too, if you're going to play a hand like this because of his aggression, you probably should actually be slow playing here. If you had actually turned like ace 6 or something like that, or I don't know, like say you had pocket 6s, right? And you called the 125, right? That's reasonable, right? With backdoors. You probably should be taking those hands and also check calling with them too, if that's the whole plan of playing against somebody like this. Obviously, those hands are much stronger than ace 10, but I just want to point that out.
Yeah, I'm basically never raising here no matter what, because all I'm going to do is get action from, pocket aces, ace king, and I'm going to fold out all of his draws.
Well, I mean, a counter to that, though, too, is if he gives up on his draws by not raising turn here with your thick value, you're losing value, and you're actually giving him like a free roll. Because if he's not betting all his draws and he's not bluffing, you're just giving him a free shot, at his stack. But okay, so button bets 800 and you call, right?
Yes.
It's an interesting live dynamic because, again, if this guy knows that you're stepping up, maybe he wants to try to push you around a little bit. So now the pot is hero calls. Now the pot is 2285, right?
Yeah, that's what I have.
2285, you put 800, 925, 1120. So you guys have like what, 2900, 3000 left in your stack?
Yeah, about 3000 left.
Buckle your seatbelt. All right. What's the river?
River is a brick. It's the 9 of clubs.
Okay. So that's one of the ones that we talked about, right?
I checked.
So hold on. So ace of diamonds, 5, again, just to replay for the podcast people. Hero opens from the hijack to 60 with ace 10 of clubs, button 3 bets to 200, hero calls. Ace of diamonds, 5 of diamonds, 4 of spades, hero checks, button 125, hero calls. Turn 6 of spades, hero check, button 800, overbet, hero calls. 2285, river is the 9 of clubs, ace 5, 4, 6, 9, and everything bricks out. Obviously, hero check.
And the button jams.
For 3000.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly from an MDF perspective, if you were playing your strong hands like we talked about on a previous street, the way that you would want to play them, this is probably one of the weakest hands I would assume that you would get here with.
Yeah, it's pretty far down.
Yeah, it is pretty far down. 5285, 3000 to call. Again, I mean, we get call-ins like this. It's just like on paper here, there's just better, I think, to go to war with, to call down here with. If you want to make a gigantic live exploit, I mean, I guess you can have your reasons, but the guy would really have to be over bluffing here, I feel like, quite a bit like just a maniacal for me to make this call. I don't know if you think is he that far out there?
I think he's giving up almost and almost nothing that misses here. I think he's just going to go for it with anything that misses.
Which is not the way that you're supposed to play, by the way.
Yeah.
Is this guy a winning player? I don't mean to put you on the spot like that, but
I've seen him. He does usually does pretty well, but I haven't played with him enough to know if he's winning or not.
well, I mean, here's the thing. So I have always talked about Fifth Street Chicken, and I've also talked about how poker, one of the biggest misnomers in poker is the fact that you call turn and then you have to call the river when nothing changes. And I always say that's not true. The bet in itself is changed, but it sounds to me like if you were playing the hand in this manner this way, the reason why you called the turn was that you were going to call the river on a brick.
Yeah.
Personally, I probably would have folded out turn, and I would have to be up against a really special player to have that plan going into the river. But I guess you can say it seems consistent. I just don't know how you know necessarily that he just always bluffs, no matter what. I mean, if that's the case, then it makes sense, but I don't know if we necessarily always know that. Anyways, it sounds to me like you called.
I did call.
Okay. And
He said, "You're good." Mucked.
you never got a reveal?
No.
Never found out later on either?
No, I asked him about it later on. He just laughed.
Well, that is definitely a ballsy call. But again, going back to sort of looking at it on paper in a more standard type of situation, not necessarily playing against a maniac. If anybody ever finds himself in this spot, usually turn is going to be a fold out. It's an interesting overbet size though too on this particular card from the button. And again, when you face sometimes some of this sizing, you want to look for some additional equity in your hand, which is why I would rather have like ace 7, ace 3, even ace 8 than something like having ace 10, obviously like ace X of spades, something like that. But I appreciate the call. Thank you very much.